Welcome back to another exciting Effective Living Mornings. I'm so excited about these early morning talks, how I've shifted the game and literally set the stage. These mornings, sessions, oh my God. Yesterday was on fire. It was on point. Megs killed it with Monday. Now this morning, I got Esther Moreno joining us. Good morning, Esther. How are you doing?
I am amazing. Who would not be amazing at 6 a.m. on a Tuesday morning?
Listen, man, listen, it's hey, I'm going to do a session on the benefits of getting up early. That will be so beneficial to you and
That'd be
somebody
great.
else. But listen, guys, I've been doing these Ask Coach Ricardo questions, and my prayer is actually one day I could be able to do this on all of my regular platforms and just let random people come in and ask me questions. But for now, I'm asking our effective living ambassadors to do it. And so this morning, Esther is the person asking the questions at hand. And I have no clue what questions she's going to ask, but I'm going to turn it over to Esther and I'll be back in a moment.
I am super excited to be here, you guys. Coach Ricardo, I could not find my Effective Living Ambassador shirt. So I just went black today. So I hope that's okay.
That's okay. That's okay. You with the camouflage green, it's like, hey, listen, I got some strong questions. You better get ready. So
Ricardo, I love having you in the hot seat. That is like one of my favorite things because whenever I'm working with you or talking with you, I'm always getting advice from you. I always feel like I'm in the hot seat. So things like this actually bring me joy. The fact that you don't know any of the questions that I'm going to ask, but I'm going to jump right into this. Coach Ricardo, you have had this effective living platform all about helping people to live a life that they don't need to take a vacation from. Here's my first question for you. What does living life effectively mean to you personally? As I'm going to take off Coach Ricardo.
yeah.
What does it mean to you as a person? And how has your definition maybe evolved over time when it comes to effective living?
Such a great question. I would say at the very core, it is living life on your terms. It is living life on my terms. Now, what a lot of people don't realize is most people are not living life on their terms. Most people are having to, not choosing to.
Yeah.
And for me, effective living at its best is choosing to. It's waking up in your mind, this is what I'm going to be about. Now, here's the deal, Esther. We all know those people who says, man, I can't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I can't come this weekend. I can't afford this. I just don't have no time. Just everything about their lives is around they can't. When God's blessed us with
Yeah.
days, months, and years, and we are responsible to developing it in a way. I believe this. Watch this. I believe in developing it in a way where whatever God says you should do, you can do.
Mhm.
And you do because you've built your life to be able to do what God says. However, there are some people, Esther, if the Holy Spirit was to put a nudging in their spirit and says, shut it all down for 30 days and do nothing but stay at home with your family, take care of your kids, don't go to work. Watch this. Don't go to work. Don't do anything but just take care of your spouse and take care of your kids. Some people will tell you straight up, I can't afford to do that. Some people will tell you, oh no, I can't, because they're not living an
Yeah.
intentional life to where they're in charge. They have to. And I think at the core, it's not having to, it's choosing to.
I love that. So I love how you're talking about a choice
Yeah.
that we have to choose. How and you just with your advice, I just want to further out this question because I think that this is so good. Because I am excuses. I write about excuses because I make them all the time. And
Right.
we have to make that choice. For those who are watching and they struggle with that, I can't. They struggle with making excuses. Can you kind of give those people some advice on how to push past those excuses? Because, and I know, excuses are so debilitating. How have you really pushed past that?
In my book, I wrote a chapter called The Crippling Effect of Excuses. And one of the
Mm,
reasons why I wrote that chapter was because I understood how damaging or dangerous an excuse can be to a person maximizing their potential. The
mm.
thing about excuses is that there is always one you can use. Not only is there always one that you can use, there is always someone who will support you with your
Yep.
excuse, reinforce the excuse so that you don't feel alone in establishing your excuse. And
I
so,
gotta say this to you, Ricardo, because you never let me, like, every time I have an excuse, I hate that you don't support my excuses. So
yeah.
I hope you're hearing yourself
Well,
right now. Support my excuses.
well, I'm not a supporter of excuses.
Yep, you are not.
I'm not a supporter of excuses. You know, and the truth be told, if you want to be great, you need
Mm,
people who will push you beyond the excuses that you've been making.
yeah.
And the truth is, if you lean towards the people who will embrace your excuses, it will
Mm,
limit. If you lean towards the people who will challenge you to live beyond an excuse, it will cause you to go to the next level. And so, what I will say to those people who find themselves making a lot of excuse, please note that an excuse can become a habit,
mm.
ritual behavior that you continuously make, not realizing at the end of the day, it is you that's going to be
Wow.
losing because you have chosen to become a person who makes a lot of excuses. We all know someone who is prone to just making excuses. I mean, just readily, they just have them. They just have them always ready to
Yeah.
make excuses. And I think you have to decide, here's the deal. I'm not going to make excuses. I'm going to make adjustments. I'm
Mm.
not going to make excuses. I'm going to make improvements.
I love that. I love that. How important is it, Coach Ricardo, when it comes to the people around us? Because I love how you talked about it. You all these things just pop in my head while you're talking because it's so
Yeah.
good. And one of my favorite things about you is that you don't let me make excuses. And I want to scream in a pillow, but then I'm pushing it
Yeah.
and I'm achieving and excelling. How important is it to have the right type of people around you and to kind of ward off kind of those voices and those people who will, what you're saying is, will support your excuses? How important is it? I mean, we hear all the time, they talk about the 5 people you have closest to you. Who should those people be, in your opinion?
Let me say this first, Esther. Show me someone who's winning, and I will show you someone who's surrounded by people who are winning.
I love that.
Show me somebody who is repeatedly losing, and I will show you someone who's hanging around people whose life sucks. Okay? You know, if you want to
Yeah.
level up, one of the first things I would say is you just really do need to change your company. You need to change your
Mm-hmm.
association. One of the
Mm-hmm.
things that I teach is it's impossible to put your hands in a bucket of glue without some of that glue sticking to you.
Mm-hmm.
Association matters. And so I'm a big believer that if you want to level up, hang around people who are going up. One of the things that I like about you and your platform is you respect those who are doing it well in your
Mm-hmm.
craft. Okay?
Yeah.
Watch this. What you respect, you'll attract. What you respect,
Mm-hmm.
you will attract. Not only will you attract, you will become more of what you respect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And so there are a lot of people who they don't respect themselves and they don't
Mm-hmm.
respect people who are crushing it. What people do with people who are crushing it, they snare at them rather than learn from them. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
That is the biggest common practice of losers. Okay. The biggest common practice of losers is that rather than they learn from you, they criticize and snare at your success, finding the holes in what they perceive
Mm-hmm.
to be weakness. But the person is killing it, and they are way they listen. She's where I want to be, but the only thing I can say about her is what I see that's not going right. When the truth is, she is where I
Mm-hmm.
want to be. Shut up.
This is why I keep Coach Ricardo around me, just so you know. He uses words like loser and shut up. Okay, Ricardo, we are moving right along on this. I do want to say, And if anybody, y'all know, if y'all listen in to Coach Ricardo, he has all of these snazzy quotes. One of my favorite things that you say that has really helped me is growing trees lose leaves. And I think sometimes we struggle. Maybe we have negative dissenting voices around us. Maybe these are relationships that we have had around us for years. And I think that we struggle to let some of those relationships go. But for you, you have helped me so much with that quote to say, okay, I'm growing. And it's okay to let some of those leaves fall off. They're going to naturally fall off as we grow because growing trees lose leaves. So I love that so much. I want to ask you another question because I feel like so many of us, we want to live an effective life. And we're trying to balance work and maybe marriage and families. I'm trying to manage a platform, so many things that are going on. In your opinion, how do you maintain a healthy balance between your personal life, Coach Ricardo, and career and other commitments? And how can we learn from how you're balancing that?
You know, most people who are not living a balanced life, they're not organized. One of the ways to get yourself really together in regards to this whole balance is organizing yourself. The more organized you are, the better you'll be able to manage yourself. The more you're able to manage yourself, the more you'll be able to live in a balanced position. But the person who's not organized is going to be overwhelmed. They're going to be frustrated, and they're going to be running from one fire to the next. And it's like they're always playing catch up. And then the person who has not understand, who have not embraced the whole idea of management. Here's the deal. Management and organization structure goes together. Once you commit to becoming a better manager of self, that's really what it's about. I want to live a balanced life, coach. I want to live a balanced life, pastor. I want to live a balanced life. Well, a balanced life is going to demand you manage yourself well. And a part of managing yourself well is you organizing your affairs. That's what I was telling a client of mine not so long ago. I say, don't randomly show up at the gym. Schedule Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I say, don't randomly wash your car. Make a commitment to wash your car maybe on Fridays. Don't randomly go to the grocery store. Establish your grocery store shopping day. Just plan to spend time with your kids. Plan to have a date night. Plan to manage and assess your budget when it comes to your finances. A well-lived life is a well-managed life, which is where balance presides.
I love that. So I want to take that a little further. So, Coach Ricardo, what would be your advice to those who are struggling with consistency? Like, how important is consistency with balancing your life on a day-to-day basis?
Man, consistency is everything. Consistency is everything. You don't have to be the best. You don't have to be the smartest. You don't have to be the talented. You don't have to have the most money. But boy, if you're consistent, you're consistent. And for those of you guys who've been hanging out with me with the morning sessions, you know, I talk about chip. And what happens is, Esther, what most people don't realize, the last 5 years, you've been chipping away at it. You've been chipping away at it. And here's the deal, Esther. The crazy thing is you got more than 15 years behind your belt of being in children's ministry, but somebody is in a meeting somewhere in this country saying she came out of nowhere. What do you mean she came out of nowhere? No, she was always there. As a matter of fact, you were in rooms where people who didn't even realize you were in the room, acknowledge you in the room, now you're in front of the room, and they're like, but the whole concept of making a commitment to discover the truth and then enforcing that truth in the most little and most minuscule way, but consistently. Just, it don't have to be big. Like I tell people, you don't have to go to the gym and work out like you're trying to go, work out like you want to be Mr. Olympics or something like that. No, you just got to decide. Just consistently show up at the gym. Just consistently monitor your money. Just consistently clean up after yourself. And what will happen is, over time, Esther, people will think you're so grand. And so consistency is the difference maker. Now, here's what I would say about consistency. If you have a habit of starting and stopping, ever see the benefit of consistency, even if you agree with it. So what you have to do is you have to remind yourself, whatever I start, I won't stop unless there's something better that will replace this in line with what I started. So that means if I started going to the gym, I won't stop going to the gym unless I decided to go join a workout group in a park. Or unless I decided I'm going to not go to the gym, I'm not going to join this group, but I'm going to start running 3 to 5 days. I'm still ultimately taking care of my body, but I'm not starting and stopping, starting and stopping. I have met more talented, educated, well-positioned individuals who are losing in life because they are not consistent.
I love that. I love that. You know, and I'll tell you, Coach Ricardo, I had to give myself a pep talk this morning, and so I had to give myself affirmations. And sometimes I have to tell myself, Esther, you need to get your head out of your butt and just do it. Be consistent. So I love it. Consistency is the difference maker. I have another question for you, Coach Ricardo, and this one is kind of dealing with setbacks. And challenges, right? Setbacks and challenges are a part of life. How does Coach Ricardo handle adversity in life? And what advice do you have for others who might be watching today, who are facing difficult times? They're hearing your message on consistency. They're hearing growing trees lose leaves. They're hearing all of these things on how to live an effective life, but they are facing adversity. Speak to that.
One thing I want to say is no season is forever. So the person who's going through a challenging time right now, no season is forever. You may be going through your valleys of the shadow of death right now, but what they say is go through it. Don't sit in it, go through. And after a while, get out of it. Now, here's the other part. No season is forever. In addition, though, for those of you that are doing well, please know no good days are forever. Challenging times are coming. And so what I tell people when it comes to adversity, Esther, a lot of people, oh my God, I'm going to lose it. I can't believe what happened. Something's going to happen. And here's what you should do. Identify possible indicators in regards to what could happen. It's called crisis planning. Okay. It's called critical thinking.
Yep.
Okay. What if scenarios? Okay. And what happens is, Esther, what if scenarios, crisis planning, okay, critical thinking all allows you to build up your emotional backbone to be able to withstand whatever comes. Okay. Years ago, I had a car that I liked my little car, but I was driving to the office and behold, the car just turned off. I had a meeting to go to. My car turned over. I just drifted on the side of the road, let it drift on the side. I called and got someone to come pick me up to make it to my meeting. As I was walking in the office, the receptionist says, "You're having a bad day today." I say, "No, not me." He said, "Yeah, your car broke down." I said, "The car is having a bad day, not me. I'm here on time for my meeting. Roadside assistance is picking up the car, and I have my second car coming to be delivered here at the office so that I'll be able to go home." What did I do? Based on how far I worked, I made sure that I had a second car option. What else did I do? I made sure that I had roadside assistance.
Yep.
When it comes, listen, what did I do? I have emergency fund put aside in the event that I have to Uber out a little bit. The truth of the matter is, life is going to throw you curveballs. What most people don't do, Esther, is they get blindsided, and that's the ones that hurt the most. It's the ones that you didn't see coming. Now, here's the deal. I'm 48 years old, and after you've lived 48 years, you can predict a number of things. Winter is coming. Summer is coming. This is rainy season. Come on, you go get some firewood because they said the weekend is going to be. You know what I'm saying? The temperature is going to drop. Get a generator. I'm like anybody who lives in the Bahamas who have built a house in the Bahamas, knowing that hurricane is going to come and electricity is going to go off. And if you don't have a generator, you have to be stuck on slow. Okay? Because at the end of the day, you study the times you have lived and the times that have been told to you by others as to what happened, and you prepare. So I'm not really the guy. Life is going to punch me in the face too, Esther. But the question is, how well did I prepare myself to handle the punch? This is what I'm going to say in my closing this point out. One of the things that I want everybody to grab a hold of. We live in Texas, and Texas is tornado prone. Okay, if I'm from the Bahamas is hurricane prone, meaning Texas can have a tornado a couple of times a year easily. The Bahamas can possibly have hurricanes every year. Here's the deal: hurricanes have the highest form called a Category 5.
Mm-hmm.
Tornadoes have the highest categories called Category 5. Here's what I teach: build your life with the thoughts of a Category 5
Yep.
coming. Okay, if you're in the Bahamas or the Caribbean, you build with a Category 5 in mind. If you're in Texas, you build with a Category. Esther, if a Category 5 comes in my neighborhood where we live right now, it'll wipe everything out. Now the question is, will I be on some food line on the side of the freeway? Because I did not set myself up
Yeah.
to simply go and book a hotel and stay in there for a couple of weeks until insurance kick in.
Yeah.
Or I'm saying, oh, the government. Let me stop, okay?
I love it. I love it. Can I close out with one more question, Coach Ricardo?
Please.
I have one more question because we're talking about effective living. This is your entire platform. And we know how important meaningful relationships are with living an effective life. You know, because you have an incredible relationship with your beautiful wife, Karen, that we get to witness and just see on social media, which I absolutely love. So, this is my question to you: how do you nurture meaningful relationships while pursuing your goals? You're still trying to pursue your goals. You're still trying to do all this, and you're trying to maintain healthy relationships at the same time. How do you do that for our closing question?
Yeah, I think in part, I think one, scheduling time. I think if people matters to you, you would try to find best to fit them in your scheduling time. Meaning, like
Yeah.
for spouses and children, you need to build them in. If you don't build them in, before you know it, the device will overtake
Yeah.
the relationship, and
Mm-hmm.
they'll grow up not having spent any quality time. One of the things I noticed about you, Esther, you popped up the other day, and you and Gideon went on a unannounced mom and y'all went on a timeout. But that was a moment. That's a memory. That's a
Yeah.
precious experience he'll never forget. Now you're a busy person. Guy is a busy
Yeah.
guy, and your family has a lot going on. But you're making time for Gideon. You're making time for Grace.
Yeah.
Well, equally so. Karen and I were made a commitment. We have to make time for each other. We have to make time for our children. And then we have friends and we have family members. And here's the deal. You can't, I think it's a mistake to be so busy that you're not doing life or
Yeah.
quality time regarded to with the people you say are the most significant in your life. It's sad that people say, I don't talk to my brother no more. I don't talk to my auntie no more. I don't talk to my mom no more. I don't talk to my dad anymore. And I haven't talked to them for years. And then they die and then they say, I'm having a hard time with their dad. You suck. That's what happened. You should have mended the situation. The Bible says, listen, as much as possible, live peaceably with all men. And that's a hard statement, what I just said, when it comes to
Yeah.
you don't know what they went through. All I know is the scripture says, guard your heart with all diligence. It also says, live peaceably with all men. It also says to forgive. If you're watching this, chances are you're a believer or you believe the Bible. That's the majority of people who follow me, that's what you believe. Well, don't tell me I'm being hard on a person who don't want to forgive because I don't know what they went through. I don't need to know what you went through.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
what Jesus went through. And all that he went through, he said, Father, they don't even know what they did or they're doing, but forgive them. You got to know that some people didn't even know what they did, but you still got to forgive them. And some people know what they did, but because you want to be free and you want to be liberated and you want to be able to soar to the highest level of your potential being maximized, you're going to have to let some stuff go. So, with that said, when it comes to spending quality time with those you love and those you value the most, go ahead and do it before you regret it. Here's the deal: regret is worse than failure.
Mm,
Regret is worse than failure.
that's so
Having
good.
having made a commitment, I'm going to give all I can to those I love. And at the end of the day, I'm going to be able to say, I did my best with what I had. And after you've done that, there's no need to beat yourself up. I think the whole concept of beating yourself up is based on some ideas that we have in our minds that needs to be taken out as well. Why are you beating yourself up if you're putting your best foot forward every day? So love those around you. And as you can tell, I'm in a season of my life. I want to live bold and I want to live having expressed love to the fullest to everybody that's around me. I love adding value to people. But here's the deal, Esther, to live and not have added value to people. Wow.
Mm,
Jesus never built a building. What he
yep.
came and did is he developed people. He made a difference in the lives of people. And that's how come he was never forgotten. It wasn't a building that was built that we go to see. It's the message that he passed on to people that we continue to spread that's making a difference.
I love it. What an incredible closing to Ask Coach Ricardo Tuesdays.
Yeah. Hey, listen, thank you so much, Esther. I am really excited about these morning sessions. Tell our viewing audience a little bit about what you got going on. You wrote a book lately. If a person is in ministry, their church is committed to reaching the next generation, how can they get a hold of your books?
Oh, absolutely. What do I have going on, Coach Ricardo? I have everything under the sun going on when it comes to training kids ministry leaders and workers. So much going on. I have a book out that is new, Children's Ministry in Crisis. Absolutely love writing this, poured my heart and soul into it. I have amazing people around me. Coach Ricardo, you included in that. Just super excited to get that out and to help children's ministries across the country. To get access to that, that is on my website, www.esthermoreno.com. It's that easy. You can have your copy today.
Esther, I enjoyed this talk. As usual, whenever you show up lively. It is so early for this type of
Yes, it is.
Coffee that you drink, everybody needs to learn what flavor or whatever that is so that they can have your kind of energy in the morning. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for being a part of our early morning session. This entire week we'll be asking questions, and I want to hear from you. Questions that needs to be asked, but you didn't get a chance to ask it. Maybe you want to join me and be the one asking the question. I'm not afraid to answer the question. If I don't know the answer, I'll say that as well. And so let's go ahead and make this a movement. Let's make this a common thing happening with effective living. Esther, thank you so much. This was great.